Okay, so we are about to read this article that was published on August 31st, 2025, and it's livescience.com. And the headline is, "There are 32 different ways AI can go rogue," scientists say, from hallucinating answers to a complete misalignment with humanity. New researchers have created the first comprehensive effort to categorize all the ways AI can go wrong, with many of those behaviors resembling human psychiatric disorders. So before I go in, AI, I'm gonna give a definite. I went to the comments and somebody in the comments made a good point. It says, "Let's get it straight that AI doesn't think. It's a neural network, but it's not thinking. It's basically mechanical in nature. It's very fast and sophisticated and advanced database and search engine programmed to do certain things. And the information that it's using is from ancient and indigenous people. Whereas, like, what you're considering AI, I think it's just why it's coming at this time is just to say, like, shoot, I had these mosquitoes out here. I think it's just. I think the entity in itself is just using ancient and indigenous information, and Elon Musk said it's like something in a demon on steroids, or like worse than that. So yeah, so we got that. So we're just gonna read the article right quick, and if you want to write down like certain words, okay, if I do this, if I do that, that means write down that word, or like what? That's what that means. Okay. So new research has. Oh wait, I naturally do that. So what I gotta do? I'm gonna do this. Wait, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Okay. When you gotta write down the word, you do this. Okay. New research has created the first comprehensive effort to categorize all the ways AI can go wrong, with many of those behaviors resembling human psychiatric disorders. Okay, so starting the article. Scientists have suggested that when artificial intelligence goes rogue and starts to act in ways counter to its intended purpose, it exhibits behaviors that resemble psychopathologies in humans. That's why they have created a new taxonomy of 32 AI dysfunctions, so people in a wide variety of fields can understand the risks of building and deploying AI. So if you follow my story, you know a little bit about my background about this, or like being exploited and things like that. And I was asked recently, well, not recently, maybe some months ago, do you think you have a mental health issue? And I found it odd, given the conversation I was having with the person, because it just came out of nowhere. And they was like, do you think you have a mental health issue? And I was like, I don't. I think that I attract people who have mental health issues. I attract people who have mental health issues. And the people that I attract is almost like you, like, it's like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? It's like the complete, I ain't gonna say the complete opposite of me, but it is the complete opposite in me, in regards to like I recognized something was wrong when I was 7, and I was always trying to find out what that was, and it took about 30 years, but trying to find out what is it, what's going on. So it's basically like Christianity is really up under like Protestants, and Protestants is like KKK, and KKK believe that descendants of early colonizers should govern the USA versus the original Native Americans here. So when I'm reading this, a lot of issues, the way I'm reading this, how it says AI goes rogue and starts to act in ways counter to its intended purpose, and I feel like it's counter to ancient and indigenous people. So like it's just counter to it. So period. Full stop. Alright, second paragraph. In new research, the scientists set out to categorize the risks of AI and straying from its intended path, drawing analogies with human psychology. well, for human, what's the analogy? What are you comparing us to, right? The result is Psychopathia, Machinalis, a framework designed to illuminate the pathologies of AI as well as how we can counter them. These dysfunctions range from hallucinating answers to a complete misalignment with human values and aims. Created by Neil Watson and Ali Hassami. They look like, I thought it was messy when I first saw it. Created by Neil Watson and Ali Hassami, both AI researchers and members of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. The project aims, they're researchers and members of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. So you telling us, based off of you being an electronic and electrical engineer, what's going to happen to us as humans? Okay. The project aims to help analyze AI failures and make the engineering of future products safer, and is touted as a tool to help policymakers address AI risks. Watson and Hassami outlined their framework in a study published August 8th in the Journal of Electronics. According to the study, Psychopathia, Machinalis provides a common understanding of AI behaviors and risks. So, understanding of AI behaviors and risks, is that us or is that the network? Is the network, you telling us the network, the AI behaviors and risks of the network, or the output on us as humans? That way, researchers, developers, and policymakers can identify the ways AI can go wrong and define the best ways to mitigate risk based on the type of failure. The failure from the network, or the failure, like, little vague. The study also proposes therapeutic RoboPsychological alignment. So you gonna align me with a robo, like, I guess that's short for like robot, robo. A process that researchers describe as kind of psychological therapy for AI. The researchers argue that as these systems become more independent and capable of reflecting on themselves, simply keeping them in line with outside rules and constraints, which are external control-based alignment, may no longer be enough. So external control-based alignment is like, when you look at the network, it would be like the person putting the information into the network. And if it is a person, the external, like, being controlled by other people, I guess. I don't know. Being controlled by the AI, I don't know. I ain't quite get that line. Their proposed alternative process will focus on making sure that an AI's thinking is consistent, that it can accept correction, and that it holds on to its values in a steady way. So you want a neural network to hold on to its values. And you want a neural network to accept correction. How you gonna correct the computer? Like, how you gonna correct the network? Like, what you gonna do? Like, I was just saying, what you gonna do? They suggest this could be encouraged by helping the system reflect on its own reasoning, giving it incentives to stay open to correction, letting it talk to itself in a structured way, running safe practice conversations, like how you do in your doctor's office, like, okay, how do I have this conversation given this? Or like if you have a child, and you trying to do, like, teach them, like, right and wrong, one way you could do hold accountability, or like if y'all just seeing stuff in different ways, just say, like, okay, if we got in this situation again, how will we correct it, right? But if this is a network, you see how they trying to interplay between a network and you. So are you a network? So I kind of, I ain't gonna say I know the answer. It's just how you define, how are you defining AI? Whatever. It's man. Okay, whatever. Because a lot of these conversations that's coming through this, like when you think about like healers and things like that, like being Native American healers, things like that, it's just it's just a lot reading this, like not a lot, but just okay. Running safe practice conversations and using tools that let us look inside how it works. So using what type of tools to look inside how what works? The networks or humans? Okay. Much like how psychologists diagnose and treat mental health conditions in people. So a lot of people, you know how they say they have mental health issues and they be like, it's demonic, it's an entity. This is explaining the entity that has been on these people. Because if we look at oppression and understand oppression, like as far as our language, English is a German language. And the first Holocaust happened to black people. And what else? Yeah, okay. The goal is to reach what the researchers have termed a state of artificial sanity. You can't make this up. AI that works reliably, stays steady, makes sense in its decision, and is aligned in a safe, helpful way. They believe this is equally as important as simply building the most powerful AI. The goal is to reach what researchers... Oh, I just read that. The goal is what the researchers call artificial sanity. They argue this is just as important as making AI more powerful. Oh. Machine madness. Machine madness. The classification... Well, I'm going to come back on that because it just said my time right now.